Cruise news time. Well, obviously the most dominant story is the invasion of the Ukraine, and of course it's reaching down into cruising. Lots of cruise lines talking about the Ukraine. Plus, where are we at when it comes to masking from a government mandate perspective? Things are about to change in the U.S. There's still a couple vestiges of masking when it comes to cruising. Will those change? And I got an interesting question about the nature boy, RIC FLAIR. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates, and I'm perched at the top of the club, a really nice venue here on the Celebrity Apex. They have game shows here. This is the nightclub, live music. This is a cool spot, but just like every other spot on this ship, there's music everywhere, so I really hope that me talking is canceling out the copyrighted music. This is the biggest challenge I have making the show on a cruise ship. There's so many beautiful places to show you guys, but it's so hard to show you anything, at least on video with me talking, because of copyrighted music. But anyways, it's actually very dark. I've lightened it up. It's pretty cool up here. I'm in the top level of the club. The last day on the Celebrity Apex, day 14 cruising for me. Tomorrow we head back to Tampa. We take a respite for about 5-6 days, and then we head back to Fort Lauderdale to get on Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas. Now, just to tease, we had to cancel a cruise, and I booked a bucket list cruise. I'm going to tell you about both of those on tomorrow's show. How about that? That's a tease for tomorrow. So before we even get into the news, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising. The club, cruising, disco club. If you like staying up to date, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. We're trying to get to 18 million subscribers. I'm trying to keep talking so the song does not bleed through. All right, I'm going to let it go. I think we're going to be fine. But yeah, please consider subscribing. That way you will know the announcement tomorrow. Okay, Norwegian Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, Atlas Cruises, Viking Cruises all came out yesterday with statements around the Ukraine. The broadest way to put it is that for these cruise companies that have Baltic cruises that include St. Petersburg, some are canceling. Atlas is canceling. It sounds like maybe Norwegian is canceling. I've seen a couple different reports about Norwegian. I can't really nail it down whether they've canceled or not, but the big takeaway message is that all of these companies that aren't canceling, like Royal Caribbean, will have alternate ports. And so right now, like for Royal Caribbean, St. Petersburg still on the itinerary, but if something, if they can't go to St. Petersburg, if this continues to escalate, they will cancel the port and have an alternative port. Baltic cruises, super important. Again, we talked about it a couple weeks ago on the bucket list cruises, but there's a war going on. And so, yeah, it's sad times, honestly. I'm not a big fan of war at all. I'm a little bit of a pacifist. If you guys know my hippie tendencies, that won't be shocking to you. But so, yeah, just man, I tell you what. Again, if you're praying people, throw it at it, man. It's turmoil, and so we just hope that I don't know. We're just praying for peace. How about that? I guess that's the easiest way to say it. So all that's happening now. The other big thing that's happening is there's several reports coming out about what the government here in the United States will do. Maybe today, maybe on Monday, when it comes to masking. They may drop the whole indoor mask recommendation. The CDC may drop the whole indoor mask recommendation, which would be pretty big. There's a lot of states already dropping indoor masking. Of course, there's cruise lines dropping indoor masking, and so it would not be surprising to see the CDC, to see the government drop the indoor masking. It leaves a couple big questions. Right now, when you cruise, you're probably going to have to mask if you fly in. There's still masking at the airport, mandatory required masking, and there's still, mandatory required masking at the cruise terminal. And so that's the big question, whether or not going forward, if the government drops the mask requirement, will there still be masking required at the cruise terminal or at the airport? Only time will tell. It does seem like the government is positioning itself to get out of this whole being overly prescriptive when it comes to the protocols. You know, right now I believe the case counts are in the 70s, and they were at 800,000 in January when Omicron was peaking, and we've seen the language change, of course, moving more toward not counting cases but looking at hospital capacity, as it's proven out that Omicron is less severe than the previous versions of the virus. So I think we're moving to a good place. It's all really good. It takes time. I know we want change to happen immediately. Sometimes restrictive change happens immediately, but getting back to the unrestriction takes a little time, and I think that's what we're seeing. If you've watched what's been going on with cruising over the last little bit, we've definitely seen that change slower than the restrictions. So hang in there, especially if you're waiting to cruise. I think the restrictions are going away. You know, it's a lot different than it was in January as we approach March, and then of course as we approach, you know, April, May, June, it's going to be different then. And of course I'll keep you up to date with everything that's changing. All right, so I'm going to diverge from cruising topics. So if you just love that cruise life and you don't care what I think about anything else, especially about a relationship between an older man and a younger woman, this would be the time to leave. But if you want to go on this little bit of an exercise with me, and the only reason I'm entertaining it is because there was a bunch of us hanging out last night and we had this conversation. And fellas, have you ever been in this conversation where, you know, you've been married for a while? I was just celebrating my 19th anniversary, and the wife always gives you a landmine question, like no matter how you answer the question, the thing's gonna blow up in your face. And so the question that you know, I'll get asked sometimes is, well, if I was to pass away, or if something was to happen to me, you know, would you remarry, or would you get another girlfriend? And there's really no good way to answer that question, but let's just assume, whether you're male or female, if something happens to your current relationship, you know, that you would probably, after some period of time, possibly engage in another relationship. And then the question for older people like I'm 50, and I know a lot of people out there that watch the show are in that older demographic. You know, I'm not saying old. Don't, calm down, everybody. Don't come at me. But I'm just saying, you know, there's at 50 there are people older than me, and then there are people, you know, younger than me, and sometimes the people younger than me are way younger. So here's the story. At LAX they caught the nature boy, RIC FLAIR, at the airport. Now he just recently got divorced from a tennis pro that he had married in 2018. They said it was a fake marriage, and they didn't actually, you know, file the paperwork, so they've separated. And he was spotted, nature boy 72, he was spotted with a new female companion who is 28 years old. Her name is Kelly Brewster. And, you know, here's a picture of the nature boy and the young Kelly Brewster. And, yeah, nature boy's got a lot of swagger, but, you know, the age is starting to pile on. And so a big age difference. So the conversation that we were having last night during the landmine question is, what is the, how low can you go? And so, and I'll throw my brother under the bus because we've had this conversation before, because sometimes brothers talk about these things. What is the Barnett standard for how low will you go? And both of us have agreed that we would not want to date anyone that was younger or the same age as our daughters, our oldest daughters. And so I have a 30-year-old daughter. I think my niece is 33, 34, something like that. And so then we would tack on a couple years just for, you know, appearances. So that's the question. Ladies, I know you're not exempt from that, because if you were, they wouldn't have a term called cougar. So, all right. That's the question for the comments today. Of course, around the cruise stuff, but is there a good rule of thumb, or does the heart want what the heart wants? Is there no age when it comes to love, or is there something in your mind that says, look, I can't date somebody that's you know, younger than my kid? Or do you not, you know, legal's legal, and then adults are adults and people make decisions? Do you have some sort of standard? Or what I'd really like to hear is, are you in one of those relationships that if something happened to your significant other, you would never love again? How about that? Leave that comment below. All right. Just a fun aside, you know, nothing serious. Don't take it too seriously. Just some food for thought. Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. Boom, that's your cruise news. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, you could show your support by hitting the like button. And look, if you do not hit the like button, whatever your job is, you're going to find yourself in a whole week of it being hard to figure out where to do your job, because that has been me. I've been setting my alarm every morning and then wandering around this cruise ship trying to figure out a place where I can record the show. And I don't even know if this one's good because I can still hear the music in my head, but hopefully this microphone didn't pick up a lot of the music. Hit the like button. All right, it's the last day on the ship, but there will be an announcement tomorrow which cruise canceled and which bucket list cruise am I going on. It's Tony for Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Bye. I'm in the club.